Well, folks, it appears that Klondike has done it again, and we have a new module called the Triple Canyon 6-inch drop. At least that's the working title of at this time. And we're going to go over what you get in the box, and we're going to do some assembly. And in the continuation of this series, we are going to go and actually put it together and do some scenery to it. So stay tuned and we'll be right back. So what exactly do we get in the box? Or the package, whatever you want to call it. Okay, first are your two sides, obviously. So as you can see, here's where the track level is. Here's your drop, which is roughly 6 inches. And then you go across the bottom. Now this is a standard triple size, meaning it is 930 millimeters from end to end. This drop is in the neighborhood of 80 millimeters, give or take. And each side here is going to be 186 millimeters. So you can have one piece of track here, one piece of track here, and then fill in across the gap as you would like. So that's the sides. Now these pieces, these are your side pieces. They're going to fit in here like so. Okay. So you get two of those, one for either side. Set these aside. Here is your bottom plate. This would be facing the one side, this faces the other, and this is of course going from front to back. These are your support pieces for underneath that connect between the two sides. Go in, very simple, just like that. And you obviously get two of those, one for either side here. These are your side pieces for the top, meaning these would go, if I hold on to it, in his section right here. Whoops, I got upside down. Just like this. Okay, so that makes your corner for that side. Well, you have one for, and it goes between, again, between the two pieces there. So we'll set these aside somewhere. Okay, so then to go across this section on the other side, you have these, and these go on the top. Now I already taped these up, as you can see, because underneath, and I could peel this away a little bit so you can see for the camera. There's mounting holes, and they're very difficult to see. I don't know if I can get it up a little bit closer here so you can see it. There are lines already pre-etched with the laser so that you can see exactly the center line of where your track needs to be, and this is the width of a piece of track. But I cover these up so that I'm going to spray paint all of this. Okay, it's all going to get a base coat, I'll show you here, of this Rust-Oleum primer gray. Now you can use as a primer. I like to seal. When I build a module, regardless if it's my own that I scratch built or if it's one of these from Klawndyke, I like to seal the wood, and because it makes it easier later on. And whatever color that you go over it with will just make that pop a lot better if it has some primer on it. because it's already, like I said, the wood's already going to be sealed, so it's not going to absorb any of your color. It'll already have this in its place. What I also am going to do before I construct this is to keep it consistent with the pieces that I already have. These two side pieces, okay, not the ends, not the middle, nothing else, just these side pieces are going to receive this textured paint. This is covers really well. I found out, like I said, got to primer it first, but once I coat it with this primer, coat it with the primer and then paint this, these are really going to turn out nice. They're going to look fantastic. So that's it. Now we're going to put this together, and the way we do that is you can use different wood glues or whatever. I found that just regular old Elmer's school glue will work and work well. Yes, they're water soluble, but I've never had an issue once I put it together. And if you've watched any of my other videos about things I've constructed, I've done them all the same way. Any Klawndyke kit, I've used the Elmer's wood glue. And like I said, if you feel more comfortable using a specific wood glue, or I know Sean from Klawndyke has already used super glue. Whichever medium you feel most comfortable with, that's what I would say to do. So what we do, I'm going to rip off some tape here. I'm going to get several pieces. And the reason for this is this painter's tape. Now this is, I want to say this is a 3M product. I'm not sure, I bought it at the dollar store. And, well actually no, this one is their product, like a generic. And it's much cheaper, obviously. And it's not that hard it's not hard at all to work with. So I'm going to move this piece out the way. And what we're going to do, I forgot, there are some other components that does come with this. These are your mounts, and there's 4 of them that will go in the corners for your legs. And also you get the 4 legs, the feet, and the mounts, I don't know what they call them, screws, whatever. It's the way to mount the legs in. I'm sure there's a technical term, and I'm sure I'm going to hear it from Sean later on. But anyway, let me move this aside. And I'm going to pick this up, and just so that I can hold it in place a little bit. I don't think I have any. No, that's okay. It can just propped up there for a second. Okay, so we're going to take these, and we're going to hopefully get some glue out. There we go. And just go where it touches, because obviously the hole, it doesn't touch in there. But I just squeeze out a glob on the other side there, and I will join it. Now I'll do the same with the other side. And these, you're going to find that these are going to go together really quick. Like this is going to be a fairly short video. I will show later on, once I get it all painted, what it looks like. Okay, so now we have the other side. Now, instead of trying to lift this and get underneath and all this other good stuff, I'm going to set these aside for a second. I'm going to go on either side of these holes, because I know that's where we're going to wind up being. Okay, we're going to just shove this into there and into there. And I'll tell you what, every time I've bought one of these, everything is cut perfect. He has a fantastic operation there, and I'm very satisfied with how these all turn out every time. No question in my mind. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put the bottom piece across here, and this is where we're going to do a little bit of taping. So we're going to go everywhere there's a depression, like this is a tab, this is depression, tab, you know, it alternates. So we're going to go on both sides where these depressions are. And I'm going to run a bead across this support, across the top here. There's a tab there I didn't see. Okay, we're going to go right here, there's a depression. Okay, and we'll go across here. And yeah, that little bit on that tab's not going to hurt. It's just white glue. That's what I like. White glue disappears, more or less. Okay, so now we have it across all those tabs. We get this oriented correctly. And you're going to see, once you get it in place, it is solid. I mean, it's fantastic right there. So we're going to go, and we're going to tape this in a few spots. Like I said, it's really doesn't need a lot. I mean, it needs some, obviously, because you can see it wiggling here. So we're gonna, once I get this, okay. Now, you can stop anytime you think it's not stable enough. Now, I have this propped against there, so it's not gonna go anywhere. Got a little glue in my hands, but that's okay. Now we need the side pieces. So this is where we're going to go next. Now I just marked these SP, okay, just for my own reference. So now we're going to go on these spaces here on either side, and then there's two over here. So we're going to go right in these little depressions here. There's one over here. And then we're going to go and put this in place. And get a little bit of tape on there. And that'll help hold it. Tape here, and we'll tighten that up. So we're going to go over on this side, and my apologies for the camera angle in advance, but I'm just going to repeat exactly what I did on the opposite side. Okay. Now I didn't look to see what time I started doing this, but you could see, I mean, I think we've only been building this for probably 4 or 5 minutes, and we're nearly to the end. I mean, these do go very quickly. So I gotta make sure this, yeah, see, sometimes you get ones that are a little tight, or tighter than others, but they will go together. Okay. So my recommendation when you're building these, this is a little more complicated because I tried doing it last night and it wasn't going the greatest. Try doing a test fit on everything before you do that. Okay, we're almost there. So we're going to do the tops. Now, here's the thing about the tops, okay? You have holes that are pre-drilled for you that are for the legs. These are designed, I don't know if the current legs that you get with them will do it. I never tried it because I always go over the top of it with scenery, so you know, that's just how I am. But if you leave these holes open, there are legs that you can buy that use a hex key that you reach down through and you'll just twist it for leveling instead of, oh, I gotta reach under it and do a little bit. Okay, is that right? No, I gotta do it again. And you know, keep rinse and repeat on that kind of thing. So that makes it a little bit easier. Do I recommend it? It's your call. Like I said, I'm just used to doing it the other way. Let's see, I don't think I have it handy, or do I? Yes, I do. When I set up my modules, okay, and this is a trick I learned from the group that I run with, which happens to be Iron City N Scalers. If anybody's out there from that group, here's a plug. A friend of mine from that group, Kevin, had shown me that they use what they call like their standard, which is basically just a piece of wood, a 1x3, I believe this is, or this one might be a 1x4, I'm not sure. I think this is a 1x4. But I just take an old piece like this that has good smooth sides, and I set it on the end, like I guess it would be out here, so that it's level. This part here, or whichever end it would be, the track is level with the track. And this is my standard, and I go around the whole thing, and then that gets me real close, and then it's just a little bit of tweaking here and there. That will get you to where you need to be. Okay, so let's continue the march here. So what we're going to do, and I'm sorry again if I apologize for the camera angle, I'm going to do this side. I'm just doing the same thing that I've been doing. Go in these little depressions, and that's where you're going to put your glue. I'm going to do the same here on the other side, which you can now see. See, I'm going right here's a tab. So I'm going right in between the tabs. And that will get me right where I need to be. Okay, so we got that. So now, like I said, so you want where your legs are going to be, and you have a smooth side here, so this kind of gives you a clue. So your smooth side right here faces in on both sides. So as you can see, the smooth side here, the tab side's out here. The tab sides always go out, okay, where your holes are. So that's rule of thumb. So we're going to take the first one here, which would be the left side, and I just drop it in, and it fits perfect. So now we're going to take a little bit of tape. I'm going to go over that, and that holds that one in place. I'm going to go over on this side, and I'm gotta be careful I don't overlap, even though it's gonna be coming off shortly, like probably in the next 10 or 15 minutes. All these, you don't have to leave this tape on very long. Okay, that's gonna stay like that. Just want it on there long enough for the glue to have a chance to dry fairly well, and that you can keep moving, you know, continue on with your building. Okay, so we're gonna go and tape this up on this side. Okay, so now it's really starting to look like something. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take the whole thing, we're going to flip it over, glue in the way here. Now, get the end pieces out of the way. Here's what we do here. And this is where I it's kind of a do as I say, not as I do. Okay. You have your corner pieces, okay? I don't know if I'm going to be able to pick this enough up to see it. I hope so, without it falling apart. I think it will. I'm pretty sure, because it's pretty solid. Okay, so what I can do, let me see. There we go. Now we got it in camera. Okay, so the way these work, you got a little piece and a wider piece, and they're the same. So that's how you know which way they go in, you know, and your rounded piece faces in. So it'll go like this, and we'll do the same thing. Shorter pieces on the inside, rounded piece on the outside. And it goes like that. So what we do then is, once those are in, we're going to glue these in first, and then this is your end, okay? The flat part faces down. That's how you know your orientation on these, or faces the floor, let's put it that way. So these how this is upside down, these tabs are going to go this way, okay? So that your corners here will fit right inside there. Now what we'll do then, and I got scissors right here, okay? So I'm going to show you these things. And now, so here's your pieces, okay? So this mount, okay, we'll call it a mount. I'm not sure what the technical term is. We'll call it a mount. Goes inside this hole, okay? Obviously it doesn't just go in, it's not threaded, but you would take, these are 6 millimeters, by the way. You could take an Allen wrench, a 6 millimeter Allen wrench, and put it in that way. I never bothered to go buy one. I have a battery operated DeWalt drill, and I have buku drill bits, and I found one that's very, very close to, and it actually fits and fits well. And so I'm not into just, you know, crank and try to get the thing to go in and go straight, whatever. I just put the thing in, I'm done. Okay, so what I will do off camera is I will take each one of these, okay, and when you do this, make sure you check your orientation, because it's very easy to put it in upside down, and that's not a good thing. So what I'll do is I'll take and I'll put these all, and I'll do these one at a time. So that way I know for a fact I am doing it correctly every time. I set them in there loose, you know, they're not mounted or anything. I'll take it out, zip in this little mount into that, and then put it and then glue it in place. Like I said, I have 4 of them that I have to do that for. So we're going to do that off camera, and we'll come back and we'll finish this up. Okay, so now we've got all of these mounted as they should be, and they went in fairly well. They weren't real super hard, let's put it that way. So we're going to do the same thing. Now I have another piece to put on here, so I'm going to put put the glue in here, 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 and here, and that way we're not messing with it later. So put a little bit of glue on there. Put this right in. Now, if it doesn't stay perfectly, it's fine, because we're going to be putting the other end piece here on shortly. So it's not going to have a chance to dry. You know, we'll not have to be super quick, but just move along at a consistent pace. Okay, so now we've got a side piece. Okay, so what we're going to do, we've already got glue on here, on these pieces, so we don't have to worry about that. But we will be putting some on here, because that's where it's going to meet. Okay, so we have to orient it right. We'll put some on here. Put some right on here and on this piece. Okay, so now we're going to take it, put the tabs in where they go. Oh, we forgot sides. Almost forgot. Okay. My tablet's is going crazy for something. Usually that's a weather. We're having some storms coming in, snowstorms, ice storms, I don't know what they are, something. So my weather alert's going a little nuts here. Alright, so this is always the fun part, because you have to line up half a dozen things. Literally. Okay, so there we go. All right, so that side went on fairly easy. So we're going to tape this on the edge. Now you can do the top if you want. Personally, I think this is enough, and it's all I'm going to do. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to flip it around, because we're done with that side, and we're going to put like this so we can demonstrate this side. Okay, once again, watch your orientation. Got this one and this one. The round part would be facing towards the floor, but would be facing you while you're assembling it. So we're going to repeat the same process. I'm going to put the glue on here, and we're going to put this in here. Okay. Now, we'll do this same thing on here. Okay, so that's done. Okay, so the last piece that we're going to do here, and this will be it for the assembly, is we're going to do the ends the end here, come along on this edge, and then on this end. Okay, so now we have it oriented correctly where the straight edge is facing up. And we're going to work in up top here. There we go. Okay, and now we have that, and we got a little bit extra glue here. You can just spread it out, it's not going to hurt it. See, this is just going to, these ends, when I paint this, are just going to be primer. They are not going to get a coating of the good paint. And the reason why is if you're at a show or at your house, whatever, wherever you're using one of these things, you're never going to see it. Okay, if it's being used, you're never going to see it, because this is where on either side is where it connects to the next module. I used to paint the whole thing. Oh, they look fantastic, but then you don't see two sides. So I figured, what's the point? So I stopped doing that. And nobody knows. Like I said, you have it assembled, who's going to see it? Nobody. Now, the easy part is the legs. First thing you're going to do is you're going to screw these legs. If I get the orientation right. There we go. There's a, if you look at these, and I know it's hard to see with the camera and they're white as driven snow. One end is tapered just a very little bit. I mean, you can feel it and see it a little bit. That's how you know which end goes into the feet. Or you could try screwing it and it doesn't go the first time. You're like, okay, well, it's the other end. So either way, whichever way you want to discover how it works. Okay, so you put all these together. And then they just go straight into these mounts. And because I'm going to go and paint this, usually I leave them all the way out. I don't have them on there at all, but it's not, you're not really going to see it or get it damaged with paint if you do like I'm doing, which is take it all the way down. It should go past the edge here. This needs tightened up a little bit. Okay. Yep, there, that should be good. Okay. Sometimes you gotta squeeze them a little bit tighter and they'll eventually go where they need to be. Yeah, I'm gonna have to tape that. I could see that got a gap. I'll have to check both ends. But this is it. I mean, this is the last of this. Now, I haven't decided exactly how I'm going to seam this. Or the bridge, to be honest. I've been looking since I knew I was getting this, and I haven't really figured out what's my best options. But I am going to be looking here. I wanted to get this video done, and it may be 2 or 3 weeks before we pick this back up again, till I do measurements and check things out. But we will get back to this and finish this module scenery wise. And if you have any comments that you want to leave down there as to which way you think. I mean, if I don't start working on it again before your comments are posted, let me know what direction you think should it be. I was thinking like a Western Canyon. You know, it has the rocks that jut out from the side, and it's the orangish brown looking, and then you know the rock formations coming up out of the middle, like if you think like an old Western, how that would look. Okay, when they get into like that type of scenery. So this is what it looks like put together. Okay, so we're gonna get a little bit of tape. So I'm gonna let this dry for a couple hours before I go out and try to paint this thing. I have to take it out to my garage. That's where I do all my painting for anything, whether it be a building or it be one of these modules. So I'm just going to put a little bit of tape just to help tighten these up a little bit. Okay, you can already see that helped on that side. Okay. So that's it. This is what it looks like. Now, how this will work is you've got, say, a table here and a table here. Doesn't matter if they're running this way or if they're running this way, and you're coming around the corner, and let's just say, because the track's on that side, I'm gonna flip it around. Okay, so we got it like this. So you have your track comes around and comes this way. You have a corner out there and it's coming across. So it would come across here. This is the end of a table. This is the gap between the tables. And here's your other table starting on this side-ish, somewhere. And then the track continues, and then it goes around and down the other side. Now, obviously, you would need 2 of these to do that. Unless you have a turnaround that you made at the other end, you know, a big loop kind of thing, which I've seen, and I think somewhere out there, I could swore I've seen somebody make some module, at least part of one, and then you go ahead and add your other, you know, make another module for the corner. But that's your choice. The easiest way is just make 2 of these. And then you go a 90-degree corner on one side and the other, and then the other side, of course, the other end. And then you just have these in the middle. And that's how you do it. So this is the size. This is a triple, as we said. So 186, 186. I did the math. I think it was 558-ish, somewhere in there. I think I figured it some couple different ways. But that's what your total is going to be. So, like I said, I'm going to figure out how I'm going to bridge this gap, what would work the best, and see how it goes. But this is it. It's put together. We will come back and I will show you when we resume what it looks like with the primer on it and the sides painted, of course. And then we'll discuss, when we come back, we'll be discussing how we're going to scene it, how I'm going to bridge the gap exactly, and the supports that we would need for in the middle, because they're hard to find as far as supports go that are big enough for this deep a canyon. But you might have to, and this is where 3D printing would come in great. If you can 3D print yourself something for supports, then the field's wide open. Okay, you could probably do just about anything you want at that point. But this is how it looks. It's really great, and like I said, we'll be back and we'll check into it in the next episode, and we will go from there. So until I see you again, remember, like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.